Went to the local card shop today and found a dollar vintage box of baseball cards and spent some time going through them and picked up 50 baseball cards and wanted to show you guys what I pulled. So there we go, 50 vintage baseball cards for $1 each. Got some Don Suttons, 3 of these Don Suttons. 1, 2, 3. Condition-wise, I'd say probably this one's maybe the best one, although the centering's not great, left-right. There's a little bit of a, I don't know, some kind of like a little paint spot up there on his hat. But other than that, I think it's pretty good shape. This one's probably second best. Got some cornering issues. This one's not in great shape, but still for $1. 1973. Also 1973, Hall of Famer, Steve Carlton. I don't love the photo that they used that year for Steve Carlton. He's got the shadow on his face. It's kind of, I don't know. I would have picked a different photo. Somebody in the comments can tell me who caught Steve Carlton that year, who number 6 was. Guess I could look it up. One of you guys knows, I'm sure. Willie Stargell, Hall of Famer. This is a 1974 Topps. Not great corner, top left and top right. Really kind of soft there on the bottom too. Centering's pretty good on this. Pretty good little card there for $1. Tony Oliva, Hall of Famer, and this is a 1976 Topps. It's in pretty well immaculate condition. I don't know that I've ever seen a 76 that's in this great a shape, guys. Top to bottom, left, right, centering. It's just, I think it's perfect. The edges and the corners, I don't see any issues with. The only problem I see is right here, a little print spot in his hair. But other than that, man, I'll tell you what, this one, oh man, that backside, I didn't see the backside, it's too bad. Centering on the back is not great, not great. Man, the front's perfect. Pretty nice card. Hall of Famer, Tony Oliva. The Hall of Famer, this is Tom Seaver. You all have heard that name before. Tom Seaver was one of the most well-known pitchers of his era. Played for the Mets, played for the Reds. This card's in pretty good shape, really. I'm looking at it. I like how they did the what do they call that? The wide angle lens. I don't know what's the word. Somebody's screaming, "It's this, you idiot! Do you know what the word is?" Tell me in the comments. I don't remember what it's called. But anyway, they use that wide angle sometimes. And this was 1974. 1974. Another 1974. Thurman Munson, not a Hall of Famer. He probably would have been, but he passed away in an aircraft accident. For a time, he was probably one of the most well-known people to have died in an airplane accident. It's too bad. He was a catcher for the Yankees, and he was on a Hall of Fame trajectory. He was one of the better catchers of his time, and this was 1974, so I think he died in 78. I don't remember exactly when he died. So I don't usually grab cards when they have 3 players on them. I like to get cards with just the one player, and especially if 2 of the players aren't great or Hall of Fame caliber players. So here on the left we got Jim Kaat. He's a Hall of Famer. It's a 1966 pitching leaders card, so this would be 1967 Topps Series. Jim Kaat, and I grabbed it because man, oh man, it looks nice, guys. This is a really good looking card for being a 1967. Edges and corners all look pretty good. It's not perfectly centered, but it's not terrible. And the back looks alright too, so pretty happy with this card overall. This is It's a nice card. Okay, you've got a 1981 Rickey Henderson. His second year card. His rookie year card is 1980, and it's a pretty well-known, sought-after card. If you got a nice copy, it can be worth maybe $100. This card is not worth $100, but it's a pretty well-known card, guys, for one of the great players of all time, the stolen base leader, stolen base record holder, probably will be for forever. Rickey Henderson. Not a bad-looking card either. Good corners, good edges. Rickey Henderson, 1981 Topps. Not a Hall of Famer here, Bert Campaneris, but he was one of the best shortstops of his era. I like this year. It was 1972, and it's a pretty well-known year. I think I want to say Hank Aaron had a card this year that's like really, pretty iconic. Somebody had a card this year that was really well-known. You see whenever Heritage comes out with a set, they usually have a 1972 facsimile or 72 reprint looking design on some players. Bert Campaneris, maybe a Hall of Famer one day. Maybe he gets voted in at some point. Doesn't not deserve it. 81, Jim Palmer. I don't know. This is little dog hair there. This is maybe not vintage. Once you get into the early to mid 80s, it starts to get into junk era. But I like the card. Jim Palmer, one of the best pitchers of all time, and this is a pretty good card here. This is condition-wise, looks to be in pretty good shape. So pick it up for $1. Jim Palmer. Another Jim Palmer. This is the 72, not in as good a shape as the 81. Got some creasing there, you see, on the corners or ridges or whatever you want to call that. And the top left corner is pretty bum. Bottom corners are not great shape, but it's 1972, so it's not going to be perfect. Again, just pretty happy with a 1972 Hall of Fame card for $1. Do that all day. Harmon Killebrew. I ran into a run of probably 6 of these 1973s, and I got them all. I did not really look super close at the condition of them. There was just 6 Hall of Fame 1973s, and I was like, I'm gonna just put these in my stack because I didn't really have time to microscope every single one I was getting. This is probably the best of the 6, Harmon Killebrew. Got a little bit of a little ink spot up there on the top, and other than that, it's in pretty good shape. Corners look all right. Edges look pretty good. Centered okay. 80-20 for early 70s is okay. Harmon Killebrew is a Hall of Famer. Gaylord Perry, 1973. 1973, Gaylord Perry, top to bottom. Oof, boy, that's rough. You barely got any border at all on top. It was printed off a little bit, but hey, he's a Hall of Famer. It's an old card. Like I said, I grabbed them all. Didn't ask any questions. Did not ask any questions. Here's the other 4 of. Ooh, okay. So I have 6 more of those 83s. So I had 8 in the lot that I grabbed today. Here's Brooks Robinson. Bottom left, some wrinkles, ridges, ruffles have ridges. Brooks Robinson, probably one of the, I don't know, 5 or 6 greatest third basemen of all time. Jim Palmer, another Jim Palmer card. Got a few of him. Another Baltimore Oriole. Oof, boy, look at that. It's rough. Like I said, I didn't look too closely at him when I got him. Probably still would have gotten it anyway if I had seen that. Just 1973 Hall of Fame card is it's worth $1, so I probably would have gotten it. But not in love with them. Not in love with them. No. This one here, not bad shape except for that little spot there. But Willie Stargell. I don't know what number 17 was. It looks like a Philly. 17. hustling down, trying to get to the bag. I think he looks out. Looks like he's going to be out. There's that ball right there. About to get into Mr. Startle's mitt. About to get thrown at it first, guys. Another Willie Stargell. Willie McCovey. One of maybe, I don't know, 30 or 40 greatest hitters of all time. Boy, this card's not great, guys. Bottom side, and just an absolute crease there on the top. Probably wouldn't have gotten that one if I looked. Oh gosh, look at the back. Yeah, I probably would have passed over that one if I looked at it a little closer. Oh well. Mr. Catfish Hunter, Jim Catfish Hunter. Before he carried the moniker on his card, the back centering is pretty rough. Jim likes to build things in his spare time. I wonder what kind of things he built. Jim Hunter. Okay, this is, I think, the worst card condition-wise that I picked up all day. This is that 72 Topps. This is Tom Seaver with his Mets uni. You know what? I think this was the year. No, I was going to say this is the year that Nolan Ryan had his rookie card, but that's not right. I think it was 68. Nolan Ryan had his rookie year. It was in the 60s. Anyway, trying to remember what the card is from this set that's like the card. Anyway, boy, is Tom Seaver condition-wise is seen better days. This is the one that got put in the bicycle spokes. Okay, Goose Gossage. Really like this card. This is at 76. Edges and corners look great. Tony Oliva, that 76 that I picked up earlier. Probably came from the same set. Just really good shape there. Here's a 75. You guys look at 75 Topps, and they all have these crazy colors. Not all have the same colors, so they like different colors on the border. Sometimes they're green and yellow, sometimes they're pink and pink and blue. Just really interesting set year, and it kind of went with the vibe in the United States at that time. You think of that 70s show. That was the first season of that 70s show, 1975. That was kind of peak hippie right there. That was 6 years after the Summer of Love. That was a lot of people just kind of exploring, their exploring the outer limits of culture and expression. Anyway, Topps kind of went with that, and they did a very colorful set that year. And I gotta say, I'm critical of the colors that they picked for this Dwight Evans. Dwight Evans, by the way, not a Hall of Famer, but maybe will be one day. Red Sox is the team, the Red Sox. They should have picked a red and black border, or red and white border, or something with red in it. My goodness, green and yellow for the Red Sox. It's just takes away from it. If you ask me, they could have done a little bit better job on the border choice for Mr. Dwight Evans. All right. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I did get. Where's he at? Yep, there he is. Next up, Mr. Billy Williams, and this is the same set. This is at 75, and they use the same green and yellow border for Billy Williams, and my goodness, does it set the card off. Look at that. The Oakland A's, that's their colors, green and yellow, the same hue, same shade, green and yellow. Billy Williams, man, this is his first year with Oakland. He was with Chicago for a long time before he went over to the West Coast to play for the A's. He's a Hall of Famer, Billy Williams is. Here's 76. Again, you can see they did nowadays you call it a color match. They color matched his team unis, team colors, that green and yellow. Topps was paying attention, but not for Dwight Evans. Boy, that Billy Williams is nice, isn't it? Centered well, edges and corners look good. Surface looks pretty good. Yeah, it's a pretty nice card. Both of those. All right, Orlando Cepeda, a Hall of Famer. played for San Francisco. Speaking of West Coast teams, played for San Francisco for several years before he came over to St. Louis. This is 1967. Pretty old car, 67. For the age, it's in pretty good shape too. There's not too much going on to be upset about. Centering is really good, really good. Edges and corners, pretty good. The only issue is there's some smudging here on the surface, and I tried to clean that off with my emery cloth and an index card, just trying to remove some of that smudging. I don't think that's an ink. I think that's from some food or something maybe the original owner had, and they signed their name down there on the bottom. Let me know who owned it. So KW, thanks for that. You were probably a young kid here at the time when you pulled this card, and weren't thinking about some collector in 2024. And anyway, it's still a nice card. Really happy with that. Carlos Cepeda. Well, the GOAT here, Mr. George Hermanruth. Not much to say. This is what do you call this? Not a reprint, but it's, this is not contemporary to Babe Ruth. So in other words, Babe Ruth was retired when this card came out. This is, 1972. And top bottom centering is rough. You can see they're starting to print the next card there. That's how bad it is. But regardless, it's a Babe Ruth card. Bottom left corner flipped up a little bit. Yep, Babe Ruth. Jim Palmer. Nothing really too remarkable about that card. 1979 AL All-Star. I don't typically grab these when they have when they're like All-Star, MVP, or career leader, or something like that. I like to get the base card of the set. I don't know why, but anyway, yeah, I still got it. Jim Palmer's great, all-time great. This is a rookie card for 4 guys, but these 3 don't matter in my opinion, or they don't matter to me at least. I'm sure they matter to somebody. But Brian Downing does matter to me because I consider him one of the better outfielders of his era, Brian Downing. If you go on Baseball Reference and look at his numbers, he's pretty good player. I don't go out of my way to collect him, but this is his rookie card, so happy to pick it up for $1. All right, getting there here. Got another maybe 20 or so to go. This is a pretty nice looking Johnny Bench / Dick Allen, RBI leader, 1972, 1973 tops. Johnny Bench, obviously a Hall of Famer. Everybody knows that name. Dick Allen, not a Hall of Famer, but not a bad player. Had a pretty good career. Kind of overlooked player. It's a good looking card. Centering's pretty good on this card. Wow, I didn't realize centering's perfect. I think on this card. Look at that. Back looks good too. All right, it's good shape there. Ron Santo, Hall of Famer. Ron Santo. The 1974 tops, the Cubs legend. Must be like a spring training game here or something. There's nobody. There's no stands. It's like bleachers. It looks like a high school field. Maybe they were getting ready for the season when they took that picture. Greg Nettles, Yankees third baseman. Not a Hall of Famer, but kind of like a Bert Campaneris type guy, where it's maybe one day he'll get in. Just his numbers were great. Played for the Yankees and had a really good career. Kind of a borderline player. You start to let in guys like Scott Rowland. Not that Scott Rowland shouldn't have been in, but Greg Nettles is every bit the third baseman Scott Rowland was. So maybe they'll induct him at some point. This was a spring training game, and the reason I know that is because number one, they don't have the buttons going down the jerseys. This looks like a T-shirt. And two, this was his first year with the Yankees. He had not played yet with the Yankees. He was bouncing around the what would later become the AL Central, but at the time it was just it was all the AL East. There's only two divisions, East and West. But he was bouncing around, playing for Minnesota and Cleveland. It's a pretty early Greg Nettles card. Vada Pinson, Hall of Famer, Cleveland. Used to be the Indians, now it's the Guardians. These cards are really tough when they have that black border because you can really see the corners when they have issues. When it's a white border, the issues don't show up as well. But anyway, this is still a pretty nice looking card, condition-wise. Centering's not great. Vada Pinson. Ended up playing for the Reds as well, if I'm not mistaken. Willie McCovey, Hall of Famer. Really, very nice looking card, 1980. Yep. Willie Stargell. Another Willie Stargell, 72. Pretty good shape for a 72. Be happy with that. Probably would have paid $5 for that. George Scott, not a Hall of Famer, but if he's borderline, he's Hall of Very Good, say, George Scott. Billy Williams. Billy, the sweet swinging whistler from Wiss. This is his nickname. Got two of these. 1980s. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 74s. 1980s. These are 1974s. So this is not vintage. I would call this junk wax. 75 is, in my opinion, well, 76 really was the first year of junk wax, but I don't think 75 you can call vintage. It's more junk wax than vintage. But this Wade box card is beautiful. Edges, corners, centering, maybe 55, 45. But boy, that looks good. Got the print spot there. That's about it. That's a 9. Wade box. Another Orlando Cepeda. Some smudging up there. Edges and corners look pretty good for 74. Same smudge, same place. Must have bled through. Man, he sat that in some frying grease or something. Ate through it. Juan Marichal. It's the only one Marichal I picked up. 1974 Juan Marichal. Oh, that looks good. Wow. I didn't realize how good looking card this is. Yeah, that's not bad at all. This is older than all the cards we've looked at so far. George Red Munger. I do not know very much about 1950s baseball cards, but I know that this guy was a pretty good player because I used Baseball Reference to look him up when I was in the card shop. And really, when you're talking about early 50s baseball cards, even if the guy was a complete scrub, you'd pick up the card because you're starting to get rare there. That's real vintage baseball cards. And a common, the 1951 Bowman, is probably going to be worth more than a Hall of Fame card for a guy from the early 80s or late 70s even. And this guy's not common. He's good. George Red Munger. Look him up. I don't know anything about him. That is a cool card. Just a few more. Robin Yount. This is the early 80s. Nope, late late 90s, late 70s, 79, Robin Young. I think his rookie card was 75. That was the year with the crazy colors. Ken Boyer. I don't know why I got Ken Boyer. It must have snuck in. I don't know if he's good. Ken Boyer, maybe he's good. 67 is an old card. Back's got some issues. Ooh, big scratch there. I don't know. Ken Boyer. He might have been good. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. Dick Groat, not a Hall of Famer, but a very good baseball player. This card's in pretty rough shape. You can see the edges. You can see the corners and some creases, some bubbles. Dick Groat was the MVP in 1960. Cool. 1966 baseball card. Love old baseball cards. This was in the vintage box. It is not a vintage baseball card, but it's a rookie of A-Rod. And Mr. Rodriguez is not going to make the Hall of Fame. Look at that, number one. Number one in the set. Upper Deck, Collector's Choice, 74. This is rookie card. That's pretty junk wax here. Still a pretty cool card. Get for $1. Rookie card, A-Rod. One of the greatest hitters of all time, the greatest hitting shortstop of all time, and unfortunately a steroid user. Another Hall of Famer, Vada Pinson. We had one from his Cleveland days earlier on in the video, and this is from when he was in Cincinnati, 1965. What a cool card. Man, the condition's not real good, but it's still a really nice card. 1965 Hall of Famer. Okay, last but not least, not a Hall of Famer, John Hiller, but that is an autograph. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that nobody's taken the time to forge John Hiller's autograph, so let's operate under the assumption that that is authentic. And John Hiller is not a bad player. He's not real well known. He's probably one of the best, maybe best 20 relievers of all time, 25 relievers of all time. Probably not a Hall of Famer, but right around, who would he be right around? Like a Kisenberry, like a Dan Kisenberry, somebody like that. Really, really solid reliever for a lot of years. Put up a lot of good numbers. Signed his card, allegedly. All right, guys. Well, that's the video. Thanks for hanging out. About a half hour. And let me show my cards off to you.